Go ahead and find a reclined position. So go ahead and lay back on your back. As you settle in on your back, just kind of notice what it feels like to lay on your back. Maybe you've just woken up. This is a morning practice for us. And it kind of feels good because you maybe got out of bed too early. Take any little motions, any movements that you might need to kind of check in with the body. Start to scan over a little bit, noticing how the body is and waking up. Maybe you take a big stretch, maybe you move a little bit, maybe you just find some stillness and allow that to happen in your body. Then just start to bring yourself into the room, onto your mat, into your body. Allowing all those surrounding sounds, little things that might become distractions, invite them into your practice. And then starting to check in mentally, acknowledging what type of day it's been, what type of week it's been for you, where you are mentally, emotionally. Just acknowledge that. Showing that sometimes those things that we don't think affect our physical body really do. They might affect your physical practice from day to day. And then try to let those go. Try to let all that go. Try to focus on your body, your movements. Trying to celebrate what your body can do today. We're going to explore the movements of our shoulders today. So all the different areas that our shoulders can move. So that's going to be our focus today. So kind of celebrating and being curious about what happens in your shoulders. There's going to be a couple things that I have been maybe misinforming you on, or maybe not being 100% accurate in what the motion of the shoulders should be. So I'm going to correct some of that today and just kind of notice how it feels in your body. And then just start to tune in a little bit more to your breath as I read you our quote from the Dalai Lama today. I believe that satisfaction, joy, and happiness are the ultimate purposes of life. And the basic sources of happiness are a good heart, compassion, and love. So a lot of times we agree with that and we find we should have compassion, love for other people, but we also need it for ourselves, right? So I like to encourage you to celebrate what your body can do, have compassion between sides, and not to get caught up on what you should, would, or could do in your practice, but just be happy about what you're doing on your mat today. So start to set an intention, your purpose for getting to your mat. Maybe having compassion for yourself today. And then start to let that intention form in your mind's eye. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. We'll set that intention with either one om or a sigh of the breath. Take a nice full inhale. And then start to bring those hands, taking your fingertips, bringing them right there where the curve of the ribs comes up to the sternum. And laying your hands there and just notice the breath. Notice how your ribs expand and rise, your belly expands and rises with your breath. And then how it falls back to the mat on the exhales. Just tuning in with your breath. See if you can get those ribs to expand, not only to the side and up, but even down toward your mat. Bringing a little bit more body awareness into the breathing. And then start to engage that Ujjayi pranayama if that's going to feel good to you, that slight narrowing of the back of the throat, creating that little ha sound or wave sound. And if you're not doing that Ujjayi breath today, maybe you're overheated already, maybe you don't need it, just find equal parts breath. So your inhales and exhales are matching no matter what type of breath you're doing. Finding a little samavriti, equal parts breathing. Releasing any tension that's not serving you as you exhale. And allowing the breath to expand into those areas that might be tight on your inhales. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. And then wherever you are in the breathing cycle, exhale fully. And then as you inhale, take your arms up to the ceiling. So you're reaching those arms up toward the ceiling, your fingers point toward the ceiling, and then draw those shoulder heads down to the floor. So press your scapula to the mat. And on your inhale, keep your head on the floor, and then exhale, reach those fingers up toward the ceiling so your shoulder blades draw up off the floor, but your head's down. Inhale, shoulder heads down. Exhale, reach up. So it's a little flossing of the shoulder blades. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Just exploring that motion. It's not a big motion. Inhale, down, but just noticing what happens with the shoulder blades. Exhale, up. Good, one more time. Inhale, down. And exhale, up. Good, hold in the up position. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, draw your chin to your chest, just curl up, reach the hands past your knees. So they may or may not go past your knees, but that's the angle you're going for. Chin towards your chest, press the low back to the floor. And then inhale, brings the arms back up. Keep reaching so the shoulder blades are off the mat, head to floor. And then exhale, draws those shoulder heads down. Good, take the arms out wide, palms are gonna face down. Just kind of notice how that feels in the back. And then from here, you're gonna roll over to one side. Actually, nope, don't go roll over to the side yet. We're gonna do bridges first. Take those arms now, reach them back up to the ceiling. And then take the arms back overhead. Palms are gonna face up. So find some length in the side waist. Good, you're gonna notice that your shoulders are up by your ears, totally fine. Right, and then we're gonna do a couple bridge lifts with our arms overhead. So we're not gonna get into our upper back. We're just gonna get into our legs and our low back. So as you inhale, press into those heels, lengthen tailbone toward your knees, but keep your sternum, so right where your heart would be, keep that part onto the floor. So your upper ribs, your thoracic spine is on the floor. So you're just using those legs, warming up those legs. Imagine sending your heels down, sending your shins forward, but press into the hands so that your head, chest stays heavy. Good, take another inhale there. So your glutes are totally engaged, you're squeezing. And then exhale, lower down. Good, we're gonna do one more of those. Press into those knees, press into the heels. And as you exhale, we'll lift the hips. Keep the sternum heavy. So you're just lifting from basically right below your ribs up toward your hips. Those are lifting. Squeeze the knees toward one another a little bit. But then imagine you're pressing your knees away, so inner and outer thighs are engaged. Glutes are engaged because you're lengthening tailbone toward your knees. Send your shins forward, but draw your heels back. Take another breath here. And then as you exhale, slowly lower down. Good, take the arms all the way back up overhead. And then draw those knees into the chest, give them a squeeze. Good, from here we're gonna roll over to one side, so your choice. I'm gonna start with my right just so I can see you, but whatever feels best for you to see what's happening. So we kind of did this a little bit yesterday in our yin practice. You're gonna take your bottom arm, reach it out equal with your shoulder. You're gonna stack knees, stack hips, stack ankles, so you're laying in a chair. And then your top arm, you're gonna take it, you're gonna inhale, reach that arm out. So you're gonna take that shoulder blade and draw it off your back. You're reaching that top arm as far as you can. And then exhale, open the chest, find a little bit of a twist. Good, take that top arm, inhale, bring it all the way back, reach. Exhale, open it up. 3 more times like that. Inhale, reach. So drawing that scapula away from the other one. Exhale, now you're gonna keep that length, open it up. So the shoulder head's getting lots of movement here. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, open up. Last one here, and we'll hold. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, open and pause. Good. Really reach through the fingers each direction. So draw those shoulder blades kind of more out and away from one another. They're still kind of drawing toward one another up by your neck. But see if you can get those lower shoulder head or scapula points away from one another. Take another big breath. Press down into that top knee into bottom knee. Exhale. Inhale brings that top arm all the way back over to the bottom arm. And then as you exhale, roll yourself over to your back. Pause there, just kind of notice the sensations in that top arm. And when you're ready, roll yourself over to the other side. So going to the other side, you're gonna take that arm, reach it out in front of you, stack your hips, stack your knees, stack your ankles. And then your top arm, you're gonna reach it past that arm, and then inhale, open up, or sorry, exhale, open up. Inhale, reaches that arm over. Exhale, open up, keep the extension of the arm out. Good, as you inhale, reach out. Exhale, open up. Two more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open. Last one, we're gonna hold here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open and hold. Reach through those fingers. Breathe a little deeper. Good, press your top knee down. Send your tailbone toward your heels. Breathing into the upper back. Take one more big inhale here. And exhale. As you inhale, bring that top arm all the way back over. And then as you exhale, draw yourself back onto your back. And pausing there for a moment, just noticing the effects in the shoulders there. And then from here, we're going to come into our hands and knees. So your choice, roll to one side. Maybe you hug those knees and start rocking and rolling little rolls on your spine, waking the spine up using some momentum. And come all the way forward onto those hands and knees. Use any padding you need to. Have your props handy. We're not going to be here too long. We're going to work into that scapula, do a few scapula push-ups. So just showing you from the back side to begin, right? So hopefully you can see my scapula. There's a few muscle tissues on top, right? So as I push my arms away, my shoulder blades go apart. As I draw the shoulder heads in, those shoulder blades draw together. So they're kind of like curtains. So I'm pushing away, that's protraction. And as I draw them back, retracting the shoulder blades. So we're going to kind of practice that today, working that motion for a little bit. So ground down into the hands. See what it feels like to maybe even turn the hands out a little bit more. Just see how that feels. And then from your inhale, we're just going to do a couple cat-cows. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. So you'll notice as you lengthen, those shoulder blades draw together. And as you round, you'll notice those shoulder blades draw apart. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Just being mindful of the shoulder blades. So we're going to have a really good upper back focus today. Hopefully have you feeling a little bit more aware of what's happening in your shoulders and your upper back, maybe even creating some strength on the back side. One more time. And then after your last exhale, come to a neutral spine. So pressing into the hands, we're going to stay on our hands and knees to begin, but you're going to press into the hands, draw those shoulder blades away, right? So that protraction, shoulder blades are away from the spine. And then as you exhale, without letting the belly drop, just press the chest forward. So you're not lifting the tailbone, belly staying engaged, draw the shoulder blades toward one another. Press into the hands, so keep the neutral spine in the low back, shoulder blades away. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades together. Good, again, protraction, press into the hands, shoulder blades away. Exhale, draw shoulder blades together, retract them. Good, one more time. Try to keep that low belly stable and without moving. Exhale, down. Good, last time here, press into that protraction. Notice what happens. You might feel your front chest muscles engaged, right? Your pectoral muscles. Imagine you're drawing your hands toward one another so you can feel that engagement more. And then draw the chest down, right? So draw those shoulder blades together. And again, draw those instead of drawing the thumbs toward one another, imagine drawing them apart. So you might feel a little bit more sensation along the side of your upper ribs. Good, lift the neck lengthened a little bit. And then press down into those hands, find neutral spine, right? Wiggle the hips back and forth so the shoulder heads are kind of in a neutral place. They're not out, they're not in. Good. And then from here, straighten those legs, come to plank. Same idea in plank here, right? Breathing. So if plank is too much, you can drop to your knees, but keep the hips at an angle so you find a little bit more strength. A lot of times in our yoga practice, we don't have a lot of pulling action to work our upper back. So we're gonna work on that a little bit. Good, so again, press into the hands, have that open up through the shoulder blades, so you're protracting. Good, and as you exhale, retract the shoulder blades, a little bit more challenging here. Press down, protract. Chest drop, shoulder blades draw together, retract. Just one more, press, retract. As you retract, drop the knees, shift the weight forward, lower all the way to the floor. Good, take a moment there, reach the hands back, relax the shoulders. Turn your head to one side. Just see if you can notice that engagement that we created in the shoulders. And we'll work on our upper back a little bit here. Exhale fully. Good, as you bring yourself to center, draw those shoulder heads back, ground through the toes, reach the hands back and then float the hands, but then turn the palms down. So as you turn those palms down, it externally rotates those shoulder heads. It draws the scapula toward one another so that we're using those upper back muscles. Keep grounding through the feet. Heart comes forward. Good, and if it feels okay, maybe start to hover the feet. Press down through the pubic bone. Breathing here. Neck is long. Take one more breath. And exhale, lower. Good, bring the hands by the side. Draw those shoulder blades onto the back. Lift the head, tuck the toes, press back knees. Hips to heels with those toes tucked, find extended child's pose. Reach through those arms. Notice what happens when you reach through those arms, those shoulder blades draw out toward the side. You're opening up through the upper back. And then lengthen forward, come forward, plank. Good, then from plank, slightly shift back, just a little bit. Adjust those hands, rotate them out just a little bit, just playing with this today. If this does hurt your shoulders, rotating your hands out, keep them in your normal position. So just exploring a little bit. Shift forward slightly into plank, so it's half downward dog, half plank, so you can look at your hands. And then draw those shoulder blades away from one another, right? So protract them, and then press back into downward dog. You'll find maybe you have a little bit more length, bend the knees. So you take the hamstrings out of it. We're working on that length from armpit to hip. And then lengthen the neck toward your thumbs. Good, take an inhale there. Exhale. Inhale, shift your weight forward to plank. As you exhale, lower knees or toes all the way to the floor. It might be a little bit more challenging with your hands a little turned out. Good, once you're on the floor, keep those shoulder heads lifted. Extend the legs back, and then reach the arms back again. Palms turn down, and then lift the chest. Find that cobra. Good, and then from there, keep grounding the feet. So you want to keep the feet grounded. Bring the hands out by your side like cactus arms. Good, and then inhale, reach the arms forward. And then exhale, draw the shoulder heads back. Kind of like you're doing a pull up or a pull down. Good, and then draw those shoulder heads down, hold. Can you lift up a little bit more? And then as you exhale, release it to the floor. Turn your head to one side, relax everything. Notice where you feel that when you did that work. Maybe at the tips of your shoulder blades. Exhale fully. Then bring the hands by your side. Lift the head, draw the shoulder heads away from the floor so they're not dropping forward, they're drawing back. Draw into those scapula, tuck the toes, press back knees. Hips to heels, find extended child's pose. So draw those shoulder blades away from one another, lengthen the arm bones, take a big inhale. Exhale. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, maybe pedal the feet, shift the hips, check in. So allowing you to move into your legs for a little bit, forget about the arms. See if you can still keep that length from armpit to hip. And just check in with the legs here. We're gonna start to move a little bit more into some lunges. Exhale fully. Good, as you inhale, take the right leg, lift it to the sky. Exhale, heel to bum, open the hip for a moment. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw knee to nose, stepping that foot forward, help it out if you need, and then let the back knee drop. Good, from here you're gonna reach forward with those arms and sweep the arms up. Good, find some length like you would, reaching those arms up, and then drop the hips forward. So keep those arms reaching up today without drawing the shoulder heads down. Keep reaching them up. Find more length in that side waist. As you exhale, right arm down by the side, left arm reaches over. Inhale, brings those arms back up. And as you exhale, hands to the floor. Shift the hips back any little bit to straighten that front leg. So just get into the front leg for a couple breaths. Heart comes forward. You might need blocks. Maybe hands are on your hips. Take another breath. And bend back into that front knee. Plant the hands, straighten the back leg, step it back, downward dog. Nice full inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shifts the weight forward to plank. Exhale, lower knees or toes all the way to the floor. Draw those shoulder heads back. Keep your shoulder heads lifted. Ground the toes. Take the arms out like cactus. Good, reach the arms slightly forward and then draw those shoulder heads back, draw the elbows back like you're doing a pull down. Good. Lift up through the chest, ground through the toes, take another inhale. As you exhale, hands down, keep the shoulder heads lifted, head lifted. Inhale, touch the toes. Exhale, press back knees. Hips to heels, find that extended child's pose, let the head drop. Take a big inhale there. Find length in the sideways, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take a couple breaths here. Exhale fully. Inhale, left leg reaches. Exhale, heel to bum, open it up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draws knee to nose, stepping that foot forward. Let the back knee drop. So leaning forward, reach the arms forward and up. Good, find that length, right? So your shoulders are gonna be up by your ears, totally fine. Find that length. Try to relax the sides of your necks. Good, find that length, take another inhale. And as you exhale, left arm down, right arm over. Find the side stretch. Inhale brings you back up. And as you exhale, hands to the floor, shift the hips back, find that hamstring stretch in the front. Good, nice full breaths here. Just check in with that hamstring. The leg does not need to be totally straight, but you're just getting into the back of the leg. Take another breath there. Exhale. Bending into the front knee, plant the hands, straighten the back leg, step it back, downward facing dog. Good, take a nice big inhale there. And exhale. Inhale, shift forward halfway, right? So you're kind of in plank, but also in downward dog, so your hips are lifted. Draw the shoulder blades away from one another, right? So protract them, and then press into the hands, send the hips back for downward facing dog. Find length there. Good, press down and forward, lift up through the hips, take another inhale. Exhale. Inhale, takes that right leg, lift it to the sky. Exhale, heel to bum, open the hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw knee to nose, step that foot forward. Your choice, knee down or knee up. Your choice here. Inhale, reaches those arms forward and up. Good, draw in through the low belly. Press into the feet. Good, find those cactus arms. Right, so draw the shoulder blades toward one another. So not only are you drawing the elbows down to shoulder height, you're drawing those elbows back. Good, now notice those low ribs, pull them in, finding that stretch on that left hip. And then just rotate to the right until you feel yourself want to bring that left shoulder forward. So even look to see that the shoulders stay in line, elbows stay in line, and just twist. Good, take another breath there. Exhale. Inhale comes back to center. Exhale, hands behind the back, interlink the fingers. Maybe you use a strap or a towel. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen hands toward your back heel. Lift the chest, maybe chin lifts toward the ceiling. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Inhale, release the hands to your hips. Exhale, straighten the front leg, stay up high on the ball of the back feet, so a little bit of balance. And then lengthen forward. So find a little hamstring stretch in that front leg. If it's too much for hands to hips, you can have hands to blocks, hands to a chair, hands to the wall. Good, but press into that front foot, draw the right hip back, take another inhale, power up the back leg, hold to exhale. Bending into that front knee, hands to floor, step it back, downward facing dog. Good, take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale, roll forward all the way to plank. As you exhale, lower all the way to the floor, draw those shoulder blades toward one another. Keep the shoulder heads lifted. Good, ground through those toes. Grounding down. From here, you're gonna bring the elbows forward, find Sphinx pose. Press down into those hands. Draw the shoulder heads back now. Press into the hands and imagine you're gripping the mat and draw the heart forward as you're drawing the elbows back. So finding a little bit more openness in the upper back. Tailbone drops, legs are active. Take another inhale there. Exhale. Bring the palms together, interlink the fingers, press into those elbows, tuck the toes, find forearm plank. Lift those hips. Good, tailbone lengthens. Press into the elbows, take the shoulder blades away from one another. Draw the low belly in so you're activating the core. Legs are just as active. Take another inhale there. And then as you exhale, knees down, hips down, point the toes, press into the hands again. Inhale, Sphinx. As you exhale, elbows wide, chest to floor, hands by side. Tuck the toes, press back, knees or toes to downward facing dog. Nice full inhale there. Exhale. Inhale, left leg reaches to the ceiling. Exhale, heel to bum, open it up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw knee to nose, stepping it forward. Back knee can be up or down, your choice. And then sweep the arms forward and up. Find that crescent lunge. Draw in through the low belly. Good, lift up through those arms. And then find those cactus arms again. Elbows are gonna come down shoulder height. Draw the hands and the shoulders back. Draw the low ribs in, and then draw the chin back. Good, finding that engagement in the upper back. Breathing. Tailbones lengthening. Good, take another breath here. And then as you exhale, reach the hands back behind you, interlink the fingers, opposite thumbs on top. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen hands toward your back heel. Low belly keeps drawing in. Keep bending into the front knee. So we're still getting that right side hip flexors. Take one more full inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, releases those arms. Exhale, hands to hips, sorry. Straighten that front leg. And then lengthen forward. Good, so that left hip draws forward, right hip presses back as you press into the ball of the front foot. Come up high onto the ball of the back leg if that leg is straight. Good, 2 more breaths. One more full inhale. Exhale. As you inhale, release hands to floor, bend the knee. Exhale, step it back, downward dog. Nice full inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rolls forward to plank. Exhale, lower knees or toes all the way to the floor, nice and slow. Keep the shoulder heads lifted, ground the toes, bring those elbows forward, find Sphinx. So Sphinx pose, shoulders right over those elbows, press into the hands, draw the elbows back to your hips as you roll the shoulders back, shoulder heads drop down, and your shoulder tips draw together. Good, finding that upper back engagement, legs are just as active, glutes are engaged. Take one more breath there. And then start to bring those hands together, interlink the fingers, press down into those forearms, tuck the toes, and lift the hips, find forearm plank. Good, pressing down, draw those shoulder heads away, press down into the elbows to draw the shoulder blades away from one another. So protracting them, we just retracted them. Good, find that low belly engagement, take another inhale. And as you exhale, knees down, hips down, point the toes, hands to floor. Take an inhale, press into the mat, heart forward. And then as you exhale, elbows wide, shoulder heads stay lifted, hands by side, tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. Nice full inhale there. Exhale. Find a little bit more width in our body. Inhale, shift your weight forward to plank. Take your hands so that your thumb pads are toward the outer edges of your mat, so that your fingers are actually off, so you can press into your first finger and thumb on the mat, so your arms are wider. See how this feels. Shift forward, draw the shoulder blades away from one another, and then shift back into downward dog. So you have a little bit more width in your shoulders. And then take your feet, step them in like 1 or 2 inches and out to the outer edges of your mat. So your pinky edges are on the outer edges of your mat. So you have a nice wide, a little bit shorter, downward facing dog. Just see if that finds a little bit more space in your upper back. And then just relax the head. Let it just dangle. See if you can find that work in your upper back without engaging the neck so much. Good, continue to breathe. Your knees can be as bent as you need. 2 more breaths here. Exhale fully. Good, as you inhale, shift your weight forward. Bring those hands back to your normal. Bring your feet back to your normal. And then draw those shoulder heads away and press it back downward facing dog. Just notice the difference between the two. Nice full inhale. And exhale. Good, inhale rolls you forward to plank. Exhale, lower knees or toes all the way to the floor. If at any time you want to go to any of those other variations that we've done, you can do that. Lengthen the feet. Hands are going to slide back slightly. Elbows draw in. Find just a baby cobra or a cobra. So elbows are bent, shoulder heads draw down, press into those legs. And imagine now you're drawing your hands into the floor, clawing yourself forward. So using those upper back muscles. Good, 1 more breath. I know this is hard. And exhale, lower. That's why everybody chooses upward dog. Tuck the toes, press back, downward facing dog. I know when I'm tired and I don't want to use my upper back, I always go into upward dog instead of cobra, because cobra is a lot of work. Exhale fully. Put a little bend into the knees. Inhale, walk those hands back toward your feet. Once your feet are firmly on the ground, bend the knees deeply. Sit back into those hips, relax the head. Give a little nod, yes. A little shake, no. If it feels okay, hands behind the back or even onto the shoulders, roll those shoulder heads back. If your hands are interlinked, reach them up to the ceiling, but keep bending into the knees. Just getting into the shoulders a little bit more. Keep the head nice and relaxed. As you exhale, fully bring the hands all the way to the floor. And then bring your hands to your knees or shins. Inhale, lengthen, lift the chest so that your shoulders and hips are in line. So you have a nice long spine. So you're using those low back muscles, pulling those shoulder blades onto the back, maybe hands to thighs, maybe hands reach back, maybe palms face down. So really squeezing those shoulder blades together. Maybe even hover the palms up a little bit higher, engaging the back of your arms, your anterior or your posterior deltoids. Good, take another big inhale. Exhale. Good, hands come to your hips, press into those legs, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, hands by your side. Good, remind of your intention as you move forward onto your mat. Have your props in case you need them. So we're going to continue working into our upper back, but then move into some postures as well here. So ground down, just kind of notice how your upper back feels. You're probably feeling everything from basically the tips of your shoulder blades up to your shoulders, out into maybe even your triceps, into your elbows. Just notice that. And then exhale fully here. Today, instead of taking our arms out up to the side, we're going to use a little bit different muscles. We're going to try and take those arms up and forward. So if you're used to doing that, good job. We're going to work a little bit differently. I don't do that a lot. It's just going to help us strengthen the two front sides and back sides of our shoulders instead of just the lateral sides. So grounding down, exhale fully. Palms face in toward your body, and then inhale reaches those arms up. Exhale, reach forward and fold. Hands to blocks or shins. Inhale, lengthen hands to shins, long spine. Exhale, refold. We got two more of those. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up, bend the knees if you need. Exhale, release hands down by side. Good, two more like that. Inhale, reaches. Find length in the sideways. Exhale, hinge forward, reaching forward, hands to blocks or floor. Inhale, lengthen hands to knees or shins. Exhale, refold hands to blocks or floor. Press into the legs, reach forward. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, hands down by your side. Last round like that. Inhale, reaches those arms up and forward. Exhale, lengthen forward. Hinge at the hips, hands to blocks or floor. Inhale, hands to knees or shin, lengthen forward. Exhale, refold. Relax the head, reach the arms out and forward, bend the knees if you need, find a little back bend at the top, reach back, and then exhale, hands to heart. Good, adding on there. Reach those arms out and forward. Inhale there. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, long spine, hands to knees or shins. As you exhale, plant the hand, step that left foot back. Turn it out for warrior two. Cartwheel those hands up, find your warrior two. Good, breathing there, press in, find warrior two. And then take the arms, reach them up overhead, palms face forward. Good, find the strength of the legs. Good, and then from here, do that little pull down, so elbows come to shoulder height. Good, draw the shoulder blades onto the back, draw those low ribs in. Good. Continue squeezing shoulder blades together. Now just reach those arms forward and backwards. So keep the elbow or straightening the elbows. And then can you look over your front shoulder? So keeping those shoulder blades retracted onto the back. Take another inhale. Exhale. Hard part, keep those shoulder blades retracted. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, start to lengthen forward just with the sideways, but keep the shoulder heads on in their sockets, and then tilt that right hand down. So you might not get as low. Your hand might rest on your shin, but draw those shoulder blades together and extend the top arm up. Low ribs draw in, power up those legs. If it's okay for your neck, look up. Good, take another inhale. Exhale. Inhale, look down. Exhale, bend into that bottom knee, elbow to the knee. Right, there you go. So press down, draw the shoulder heads onto the back, so heart comes forward, low belly draws in, so that left hip draws forward, and then take your top hand, reach it down by your left hip. Good, open the chest. Good, pause there, use the strength of the legs to lift the chest, and then that left hand, you're gonna sweep it forward the direction you're looking, and then up overhead. Find the length. Good, keep drawing shoulder blades onto the back. Find the strength of the legs, low belly draws in. Big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, press yourself back up, warrior two. Exhale, shoulder heads onto the back. Good, take an inhale there. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor or blocks. Turn that back heel up. Your choice here, you can vinyasa or you can step forward. So you have choices here. I'm going to vinyasa, plant the hands, step it back, take an inhale and plank. Exhale, lower knees or toes. Hands by the side, ground the toes. Inhale, baby cobra or cobra. Exhale, shoulder head stay lifted, meeting up, downward facing dog. So wherever you are, you either did the vinyasa, maybe you're in downward dog, maybe you're in a forward fold. Wherever you are, take one more big inhale. And exhale. For those that are forward fold, your right foot will step back. Those people in downward dog, your left foot will step forward. And your right heel will come down for warrior two. So you get to see the back side of my shoulder blades now. Cartwheel up, warrior two. Good, so find your warrior two, left foot forward, right foot back, arms are wide, and then take those arms up to the ceiling. Good, reach up through those arms. Good, and then find a little pull down or pull up. Shoulder blades draw toward one another. Good, draw those shoulder heads back. And then straighten the arms, reach forward and back. Keep those shoulder blades together. Draw the low belly in, and then look over those front fingers. Good, keep drawing shoulder blades together. Big inhale here. Exhale. Hard part here. Keep those shoulder blades drawing together. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Coming to Trikonasana. Exhale, lengthen the sideways. Keep those shoulder blades together. And just tilt the body. Keep drawing in. Power up the legs. Hand can rest on the shin if you need. Good, low belly draws in. Good, take one more big inhale. Use those legs. Exhale. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, bends into that left knee, elbow to thigh. Good, shoulder heads onto the back. Take your top hand down by your side. Good, press into that bottom elbow. Shoulder heads draw back, shoulder blades together. Power up the legs. And then take that bottom hand, sweep it toward the direction you're looking and overhead. Kind of like we did when we did our sun salutation, reaching up and forward. Good. Shoulder blades draw into the back as your heart lifts. Tailbone drops. Use those legs. One more big inhale. Exhale. Find the power of the legs. Inhale, press yourself back up, warrior two. Shoulder heads draw down and shoulder blades together. Take one more big inhale there. And as you exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor, pull up that back heel, pause there. Decide if you want to vinyasa, downward dog, or just stepping forward. I will vinyasa, step back, inhale, exhale, lower, inhale, shoulders back, exhale, downward facing dog. Good, nice big inhale, and exhale. Good, wherever you are, if you're in downward facing dog, your right foot's gonna step forward. If you're in forward fold, your left foot will step back. Right foot steps forward, step your right foot out toward your right hand. So a little bit wider stance. And then take your left foot, drop it to the ground so that you're in a warrior one stance, but a little bit wider. So your toes are more out toward the side of your mat. So we're gonna go a little wider warrior one stance. And then reach those arms up. So you're almost the width of your mat. You're in warrior one, so your hips are opening up toward that top left corner. And just notice how that feels in the body, right? Maybe hands to hips to begin, kind of feel into those legs. So allowing us to have more width in our legs is going to help us have a little bit more relaxing in our shoulders because we're not needing to balance so much. Good, and then take those arms up. Good, and square your chest toward that left corner. So your hips and your shoulders are gonna be the same direction. So you're not facing the top of your mat. It's gonna feel weird. Good, bend into the front knee. Good, power up that back leg. Good, big inhale here. Exhale. Good, and then from here, you're really gonna lift and draw those pinky edges toward one another. So those shoulder blades are drawing away. So we did all that work of drawing them together. Now we're pulling those shoulder blades away from one another. You might even feel some engagement in your pec muscles, the front of your chest. And then if it feels okay, can you look up to your palms? Maybe bring your arms slightly forward, and can those palms touch? If that's too much, just keep the arms wide and circling those pinkies toward one another. Keep bending into that front knee. Good, take another inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straightens that front leg. As you exhale, hands to your hips. Good, from here, square the hips, right? So you might turn that back foot in even more, but your feet are still wide. And then lengthen forward. Find Parsvottanasana. So it's a little bit wider, so that left hip's gonna wanna lift. See if you can draw that left hip down. Hands can stay at hips. Maybe they come to blocks on the inside of that right foot. And then power up the legs as your heart comes forward. For those that can, chest drops toward the thigh, but keep that left hip drawing forward. So you're gonna feel a nice stretch on your outer right hip, right hamstring, maybe right calf. 2 more breaths here. Exhale fully. Inhale, lift and lengthen. As you exhale, put a little bend into that front knee. Come up onto the ball of the back foot, slide that foot back. And then your back knee can come down to start. So we're gonna go into a little variations of twist. Take your left hand either to the block or floor, right arm reaches. Your back knee can stay down or power up that back leg. Take a couple breaths here. If you wanna go a little bit deeper, back knee's gonna drop again. Hands come to heart, rotate toward that right leg, left elbow top of the right thigh, press palms together. Maybe pause here, find that rotation. Try to draw the shoulder blades together, but they are drawing apart. So chest toward hands, maybe power up the back leg. So shoulder blades drop toward one another. They may or may not get there, but that's the action as you're pressing into those hands. Power up the legs, and can you shift the weight slightly forward into that right foot? Take another inhale. Exhale. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, hands to floor on the inside of that foot. Your choice here, either stepping forward or stepping back for a vinyasa. Stepping back. Everybody step back for a vinyasa. We'll go together. And then lower knees or toes all the way to the floor. Let's find that Sphinx pose again. Elbows to floor, press down. Heart comes forward, ground the toes. Good. Find that Sphinx. Grip into the mat. Draw the elbows back. Take an inhale. Exhale, interlink the fingers, tuck the toes. Find that low plank. Broaden through the upper back. Shoulder blades apart. Take another inhale. Exhale, knees down, hips down. Hands to floor, Sphinx. Take a big inhale there. And then as you exhale, chest down, slide the hands back, press back, downward facing dog. Exhale fully. Left foot's gonna step forward. Behind or where your right hand would be, your left foot steps forward. Left foot, not right. And then your right foot's gonna step out toward the edge of your mat, so you have that wider stance for warrior one. When you're ready, reach yourself up. Hands to your hips to begin. So play with it, it's gonna feel weird, right? Your hips are open to that right corner of your mat. Good, so you might feel a little deeper stretch on that right thigh. Power up that leg, bend into the front knee. Good, and then when you're ready, reach those arms up. So really reach and lengthen. Your chest is the same direction as your hips toward that right top corner. Then lengthening up. Tailbone drops. Lift up through the chest, draw those low ribs in, and then spiral those pinkies toward one another, right? So you're drawing those shoulder blades away from the center line. Maybe draw the arms slightly forward, look to the palms, and maybe palms touch. Good, so you're finding a little bit as pressing into the hands, you're finding some strength, some isometric strength on the back side. Keep bending into that front knee. Good, 2 more breaths here. Good, big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, reaches the arms out. Exhale, hands to hips. As you inhale, straighten that front leg, right? You might need to take that back foot and step it in a little bit for a little shorter stance for Parsvottanasana. And then start to lengthen forward. Hands come down to the inside of the foot, to blocks or floor, because we are in a wider stance. Drawing that right hip forward. That right hip's gonna come forward and down. Left hip's gonna draw back. Imagine you want to squeeze a block between your thighs as you press into the feet. Lengthening out forward, either to the top of the mat, or if you have more flexibility in those hamstrings, lengthening your chest toward the blocks or toward the middle inside part of your left shin. A couple more breaths here. Big inhale here. And exhale. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bend into that front knee, wiggle that back foot back, and then drop the back knee. Coming into a twist. So we're gonna start with our right hand on the floor, left arm's gonna reach. Gonna draw the shoulder heads toward one another, shoulder blades toward one another. Heart opens. Good, maybe you power up the back leg. Just finding some openness here. Breathing. You can either stay here or let that back knee drop. Lift the chest, hands to heart, rotate toward that left knee. Right elbow, left knee, press palms, palms to heart. Find that twist. Draw those shoulder blades toward one another. Chest lifts. Maybe you power up the back leg. Good, if that back leg's powered up, shift the weight more toward the left foot, so come up high onto the ball of the back foot, getting into the calf, and continue to rotate. Check in with your breath. Can you slow it down? One more full inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, brings those hands to the inside of the foot. And together, everybody step it back into plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower knees or toes all the way to the floor. Coming to Sphinx. Press down into those hands. Lengthen those toes back. Shoulder heads roll back. Good, big inhale here. As you exhale, palms together. Interlink the fingers, tuck the toes. Find that low forearm plank. Good, broaden the shoulders. Low belly draws in, tailbone lengthens to heels. Take an inhale. As you exhale, knees down, hips down, hands to floor. Take an inhale, heart opens. As you exhale, slide the hands back, keep those shoulder heads lifted, press it back, child's pose. Extended child's pose here. Reaching the arms forward. Toes can be tucked or not. Take 3 deep breaths here. Just kind of check in with that upper back. Slowing your heart rate down. We're going to play with a little bit of balance today. So we had a request for tree pose, Vikrasana. So we're going to play with that a little bit different entry to it. And exhale fully. Inhale, reaches those arms up. Exhale, shift the weight forward, find your downward facing dog. And then shift forward again, slightly halfway so you can look at your hands. Draw the shoulder blades away from one another, find that length. And then shift the hips back, finding that length from armpit to hip. Just kind of noticing the difference there. Good, inhale, right leg's gonna lift to the ceiling. Exhale, heel to bum, open it up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw knee to nose, step it forward for warrior 2. Let that back heel come down, cartwheel the hands up, come to warrior 2. Yay. Good, just do a couple wrist circles with those wrists as you're in warrior 2. Good, and just notice what it feels like. So draw those shoulder blades onto the back, and then now reach those shoulder blades away from one another, right? So expand them, so your thumbs might come forward a little bit, totally fine. So just kind of find a neutral position between protraction and retraction for your warrior two. Good. And then bring your hands to your heart. You're going to take your back foot, slightly step it in. So you have a little shortened warrior two. Good, and you're just going to rock forward and backward, right, between those two. And what we're going to do is we're going to, when we rock back into our back leg, we're going to keep it straight. So start to straighten your back leg and just bend your front knee. And we're going to step our right foot into our left leg for tree. Something different. So take an inhale, and then just exhale, shift back. Maybe the foot touches floor, then to up. And then come back down slowly, and back in again. Whew. One of these times you might make it to your leg. Maybe you start low for your calf. Good. Take one or two more of those. Once you find the balance, start to find that balance. Good, so I get about to my calf, maybe a little bit above my knee, and I have my balance. Good, press that right heel forward. Good, engaging that right hip. And if it feels okay, start to lengthen those arms up. So reach them up and forward. Lengthen from armpit to hip. Good, take one more breath there. Good, big inhale. As you exhale, hands to heart. And then stepping that right foot back out for warrior two. Widen the stance, widen the arms. Good, take an inhale there. Exhale. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Hands gonna come to block or floor. Step that back foot in slightly, and then come to half moon. Good, so a little bit of balance here for half moon. Open the chest. Good, breathing, maybe top arm reaches. Power up that back leg, shoulder blades draw onto the back. Good, one more full inhale. Exhale. Good, nice and slow, start to bend into that front knee, come back to warrior two. So nice and slow into warrior two. Excellent. Big inhale there. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Pause there, step it back, either downward dog or through your vinyasa, your choice. Whatever you like. Once you're in your downward dog, find that extension of the sideways by drawing those shoulder blades away and then sending the hips back. Exhale fully in downward dog. Inhale, left leg reaches. Exhale, heel to bum. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, steps that foot forward. Coming into warrior two. Drop the back heel, cartwheel those hands up, find your warrior two. Good, then find that equal distance between retracting the shoulder blades, drawing them together, and protracting them by that equal balance to find your warrior two. Good. And then from here, hands to your heart. Take that back foot, step it slightly in. Good, and just rock forward and backward into that front knee. Good, keeping the back leg straight so you know where we're going now. Maybe this is your side, you're like, oh, I get it now. So from here, you're gonna push off that front foot, find a little tree pose. Maybe you don't quite make it the first time, maybe the second time, maybe the third time. Woo. One more. Once you find your balance, wherever it may be, good, pause. Send that left inner heel forward. Tailbone drops. Maybe arms start to reach up. And check in with your breath. Can you make it a little deeper even though you're going to wobble a little bit more? Knowing you're only a step away from the floor. Good, another big inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, hands come back to heart. As you exhale, step it back out, warrior two. Find your warrior two. Pause there for a moment. Good, and then lean forward on your inhale. As you exhale, bring the hand down, step that back foot in, coming into half moon. Stand onto that left leg, lift the right leg, open the hips, and then maybe that top arm reaches. Spread through the toes, lift that top outer hip up. Draw the shoulder blades together. Use your breath. Good, one more full inhale here. Hold to exhale. Slowly as you inhale, come back to warrior two. Very slowly, mindfully, and land warrior two. Good, big inhale. Then as you exhale, cartwheel the hands. Plant those feet, step it back, your choice, vinyasa, downward dog, or even child's pose. After you've done your vinyasa, or after you've held in downward dog for a couple breaths, everybody find child's pose. Take those arms back behind you toward your feet. Let your head rest on the floor or on a block. So we're gonna work ourselves into some supine, or laying on our belly, back bends. So heart openers there. So if you need a little padding under your belly, you can use a little blanket or a pillow under your belly if you'd like that. But we're gonna work towards bow pose. We've opened our chest a lot. We've protracted and retracted those shoulder blades, finding some opening. We've done a lot of Sphinx and Cobra. So we're just gonna progress from there. So if you'd like, I like to have a little something under my hips. So I'm gonna place my blanket on the ground. Basically that's gonna come between my low ribs and my hip bones is where that's gonna go. You do not have to have that if you like doing belly heart openers. I just like to have a little bit more lift for my chest so I don't feel like I'm suffocating on the floor. That's just my preference. So if you're using something underneath, make sure your hip bones are back more on the mat. It's gonna be a little bit more pressure in your belly. So be warned for that. You might start to feel your heartbeat there if you have something. Ground through the toes. We're just gonna go into a little bit of locust and a little bit of shark, and then we'll get into some of those bigger back bends. Good, so then go ahead and lower down. Reach the hands back, roll the shoulder heads back. So your heart's gonna lift, round through the toes, reach the hands back, and then rotate the palms down. So pinkies roll in, thumbs roll out, heart lifts. Good, breathing. Take another inhale there. And as you exhale, lower. If you're lowering down, you have something under your belly, you might want to come to Sphinx. It just feels a little bit better. Exhale here. So getting into our quadriceps a little bit. If you need a strap to reach your quadriceps or a towel, you have that as an option. Everybody come up into Sphinx. Take your left elbow, turn it at like a 45-degree angle. So your hands facing more toward the top right-hand corner of your mat. Bend your right knee. Reach back for your hand to the outside of your foot. Good. And then from there, you're just gonna start to bend. You're gonna start to then walk your hand around your foot. See if you can now grab the inside of your foot. Good, so your hand's on the inner sole. Good, and then from there, press hand into foot, foot into hand, and then see if you can square your chest to the front of your mat. So finding a little bit of quadricep stretch, a nice shoulder stretch. And then for some of you, if you have that accessibility, maybe you start to bring your hand to the top of the foot, bending your heel toward your bum, getting a deeper thigh stretch. Elbow points up, take another breath there. And then slowly extend the arm and leg. Bring that hand to the ground, rest on the floor or in Sphinx for a moment. And then we'll do the opposite side. Turn that right elbow in at about 45 degrees, hands pointing to the left corner of your mat. Bend your left foot, reach for your foot to begin. Good, pause there, lift the chest, and then walk your hand around the toes so you're grabbing the inside part of your foot, your inner arch, and then press hand into foot, foot into hand, rotate the chest to the front, using those leg muscles to lift your arm. Also press into that right elbow. Good, and either stay here or start to walk that hand around the top of your foot. Elbow lifts, shoulder rolls back, heel toward bum. Getting a deeper quad stretch. Big inhale there. Exhale. Go ahead and extend the arm and leg. And then release the hand, either come all the way to the floor or back to your Sphinx if you have something underneath your hip, under your pelvis. Good, so adding those together, doing some bow pose, right? So if bow pose doesn't feel good for you to grab both legs, do one at a time again, right? So we're gonna do this 2 rounds. So go ahead from here, if you're on something under your hips, it's gonna be a little bit of pressure so you can get up, or you can stay in Sphinx pose, which is what I like to do, to reach back. So I like Sphinx pose, roll it back, bend the feet. Good, and then one hand at a time, you're gonna reach back, grab the inside if you can. If that's not accessible, outside is fine. Hold on, lift yourself, bring the opposite hand back. Good, press feet into hands, hands into feet, lift the chest, tailbone lengthens, drop the knees to the floor. So if you have something under your belly, your knees will stay grounded. If your belly's on the floor, see if you can hover those knees. Good, lengthen the spine, shoulder blades are drawing together. Good, one more full inhale. Exhale. Slowly release the legs. Elbows or hands to floor. And then if you're on something on your belly, just for contraction, or sorry, contradict or comparison, that's the word. Go ahead and lay all the way down onto your belly. Pause there, rest your forehead on your hands. So just to compare what it feels like without something underneath your belly. Because who knows, maybe you've only ever done something under your belly and nothing underneath. And I want you to be able to have a good comparison to see what feels best in your body. So same idea, you're gonna bend your knees, taking your hands back, reach for those ankles or feet, maybe tops of feet, maybe ankles, press down into the pubic bone, roll the shoulders back. For those that have more openness in their shoulders, you're gonna grab to the inside of the ankles, and then press hands into feet, maybe lift the knees, engage the glutes, roll the shoulders back, lengthen the neck. Good, use those shoulder blades drawing back to lift the heart. Pressing into the hands, lift the knees, one more big inhale. Hold to exhale. Slowly lower the knees down, release the feet. Turn your head to one side, pause there. Make the legs a little bit wider. And then rock the hips a little. So just kind of noticing how that felt in your body, which one felt better. I just like being away from the floor a little bit more. I feel like I can get into my upper back rather into my low back with that. But maybe it's different for you. Good, and then hands by the side. Press back to tabletop. And then we're gonna make our way onto our back. Resist the urge to go into child's pose just yet. We're gonna do one more back bend from our back. So you have a choice depending on how you're feeling, right? You can do bridge pose. You can do wheel pose. So either Setu Bandhasana bridge or Urdhva Dhanurasana wheel. So your choice on what you do there. We're gonna do one time, we're gonna hold for about 8 breaths. So be mindful what you're gonna do. Next week, I am gonna work into some of these heart openers. We're gonna work through that again and using the wall and using blocks and stuff. So don't worry about getting into your fullest today if you're not sure, but we're gonna work through that next week. So if you'd like to join me. So ground down into the feet, wherever you are, either hands by your side. If you can't interlink your hands behind your back, maybe see if you can grab your mat and push the mat away as you lift your hips. So you can grab around the outer edges of your mat if your hands don't reach underneath your back. So press down into the heels. Inhale lifts those hips. Either bridge pose like I'm doing, line those shoulders under, or hands by your head and lift the chest for full Urdhva Dhanurasana. So notice what it feels like to grab the outer edges of your mat and push them away to lift the hips. Maybe you get closer to interlinking the hands. Sometimes your hands just kind of float and it's not very comfortable. So grabbing onto the outer edges of your mat, gripping them, and then pushing them toward your heels feels good to lift. Okay, you got 3 more breaths here. Engage those glutes. Find your breath. One more full inhale here. Hold to exhale. Slowly coming down, especially if you're in wheel pose, nice and slow. Once those hips are on the ground, let your knees knock in, feet are apart distance of your mat, and pause. Couple deep breaths there. And then draw those knees into the chest. Lengthen the tailbone down, so just finding a little release through the low back, through the hips. And then round the spine up, draw the forehead toward the knees, use the core. Can you lift the hips toward the ceiling, finding a little ball, engaging into the core. And then release that down. Good, from here we're gonna get into our hamstrings and hips a little bit more. So if you would like to use your strap, place your soles of your feet on the ground, use your strap. Before we use the strap, I just want you to notice the difference between the two. So we're gonna do one thing without the strap and then one thing with the strap. So taking your right leg extended up to the ceiling, hands by your side, like cactus, just kind of notice the front of your hip working, those hip flexors. If it feels okay, left leg long. So it's gonna be more work for your hip flexors. So you're pushing through your heel, engaging the leg. No holding on with your arms. You might even be shaking. Good, so your straight might be more toward the front of, or the end of your mat than toward the ceiling. But notice that hip flexor. Notice the hip flexor, open the leg out to the right. Pause when you start to feel that left hip lift and really engage the legs. So we're actively using those hips to find some range of motion. And then back up to center. And then just across your body just a little bit. Don't let that right hip lift. So getting into the outer hip. But just notice what it feels like to keep your leg active here. So when we use the strap, we still want some of this activity, but then we're also going to be able to use the strap for a little bit more leverage. Come back to center. Slowly lower that leg all the way to the ground. Good. And then bend both knees again. Take that left leg up. Pause there. Notice how it feels. And then maybe right leg goes straight, so you're going to have a little bit more core action going. Your low belly's engaged. Using that hip flexor. Using the quads. And then drawing that leg out to the left. Keep that right hip on the floor, so you're going to feel your inner thighs, your abductor muscles. Good. Push through the heel, keep that activity going. And then inhale, draws the knee back up to center. Exhale, just across the body just a little bit. Keep that left hip on the floor. Feeling your outer hip, that TFL, your outer hip there. And then back to center. And then slowly lower the leg all the way to the ground. Once it's there, relax the legs, relax the engagement. So same idea we're going to do, but now with the strap. Go ahead and bend the knees. Right foot's going to come up. Wrapping that strap around the ball of the foot. And then let that right hip drop in. Push up. So still find that engagement. So a lot of times when we use the strap, we kind of forget about engaging. So try to find some engagement there. So you're resisting forward and backward. Maybe left leg goes long. Couple more breaths. And then take your left hand, press it on your left hip, open the leg out to the right. Good, so really finding a stretch on those inner thighs, the adductors. Engage your right hip and then push through the ball of the foot. So that's going to help you get a deeper stretch on those inner thigh muscles. Press down into the left hip. That's going to help your pelvis stay level to keep into the inner groins. Good, take an inhale. Exhale. Put a little bend into the knee. Inhale brings the leg back up. Switch hands on the strap. Take that right thumb into your hip crease. Roll the hip crease down toward the floor and then down toward your toes on the left leg. And then bring that leg across your body any little bit. If you want more intensity, toes toward head. Less intensity, heel toward the bottom foot. Right? So keep that right hip on the floor. It's not about how far you twist. It's not a twist. It's that outer hip stretch. Exhale fully. Inhale brings the leg back to center. Release the strap and then slowly lower the leg to the floor. Good, relax the legs. And then bend the knees, second side. Taking that strap around the left foot, reaching that leg up. Drop that left hip down to the floor. Pausing there, get that engagement going like you don't have the strap, but then push up into the ball of the foot. And then maybe that right leg goes long. Nice full breaths. And then taking that right hand, press it onto the top of that right hip, right on your hip bone. Open the leg out to the left. Good, press through the ball of the foot, engage your left hip, getting into those inner groin muscles. Breathing. Even push through that right heel, like you're pushing into a floor, and then pushing into a wall with your left foot. Exhale fully. Put a little bend into that knee. Inhale brings that leg back up to center. Exhale, right hand onto the strap, left thumb into your hip crease. Roll that hip crease down to the floor and then down toward the end of your mat. And then start to take that leg across the body ever so slightly, getting into the outer hip. Again, adjusting the intensity by either drawing toes closer to the top of your mat or heel closer to the bottom of your mat, not twisting into it. I find keeping that thumb in my hip crease helps that hip stay down. Big inhale here. Hold to exhale. As you inhale, bring the leg back up. Exhale, release the strap. And then as you inhale, slowly lower the leg. And once the foot's on the floor, exhale, relax those legs. Good, coming into a twist here, your favorite form, so go ahead and bend the knees. You have two legs, one leg, maybe eagle legs. Shift your hips to the right first. And then going into your twist, drop the legs to the left. Keeping those shoulders on the floor, breathing into it. If you're doing eagle legs, your right leg is on top. Nice big breaths here. Let the breath become fuller. Let your belly expand and contract, and let your legs lift with your inhale, and then let the twist deepen with your exhales. Exhale fully here. As you inhale, bring the knees back to center. Exhale, shift the hips to center, pause. And then shift the hips to the left. And dropping those knees to the right. If you're doing eagle legs, your left leg is on top. Trying to open and spread those collarbones, strutting your chest toward the ceiling. Getting the shoulders to relax. Letting yourself feel the twist from the side waist to the top hip into the spine. And again, letting that breath guide you. As you inhale, those legs will lift, the twist will decrease. And as you exhale, the twist will increase. Exhale fully here. Inhale brings the knees back up. Exhale unwinds those brings those hips back to center. Pausing there, scanner the body. Notice if there's any other posture your body's craving. If it's not other than happy baby, let yourself do that pose. Maybe you need a little hip stretch or a deeper reclining twist, whatever you need. Otherwise, if you're good, happy baby, drawing those knees down, spreading the knees wide, grabbing onto the feet or the ankles, lengthen the tailbone to the end of the mat. Find a little resistance first, and then find some movements. Rocking a little bit, maybe straightening the legs side to side or overhead. When you're ready, release those feet. Extend the legs up, give them a little shake. They've done you well today. And then slowly release the feet to the floor, extending those legs out, using any props you need to rest comfortably. Taking those legs out a little bit wider, lengthening the tailbone. Press down into the elbows, draw those shoulder blades onto the back to open the chest a little bit. But then, because we don't want to keep them retracted the whole time, you're just going to take your shoulder heads and lift them toward the ceiling. So they kind of open up a little bit, but the inner shoulder blades are still on the mat. And then relax the arms out by the side. So you should find a nice little neutral position for those shoulder blades. We work them. So we want them to rest in a nice neutral position. And this is one of those things I normally make you keep them retracted when we're in Shavasana, but I'm finding that it's better to keep them in more neutral positions so you're not getting extra tightness in that area, which we're already chronically tight. And then exhale fully here. Good, one cleansing breath here. You're welcome to do 3. Take a big inhale, fill it into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest and the back side of your body. Hold the breath for a moment. And then let it go. Letting yourself surrender here into stillness, into calm, into quiet, into Shavasana. Allowing your body to absorb the energy it's created today in this practice. As both your body and mind settle into stillness and relaxation. Taking rest. I'll bring us out of Shavasana with 3 bells. Feeling free to stay here if you would like to restore a little bit more. Otherwise, allow your next breath to come in a little bit deeper. On your next breath, bring some movement into the fingers and toes, maybe even the wrists and ankles. On your next breath, reach your arms back behind your head, slide your feet together, give yourself a nice long stretch. And then slowly bend the knees, draw the knees into the chest or windshield wiper those legs, whatever's going to feel best to you. When you're ready, use your arm as a pillow, roll over to your favorite side and pause. Pausing there as we go back to our quote of the day from the Dalai Lama. I believe that satisfaction, joy, and happiness are the ultimate purposes of life. And the basic sources of happiness are a good heart, compassion, and love. As you're ready, pressing yourself up, come all the way back up to seated, find a comfortable seat. If the eyes have opened along the way, allow them to close and bring the hands to the heart center. Pausing here for just a moment, allowing yourself to be in the room, on your mat, and in your body. Connecting with your basic sense of goodness, allowing yourself to have compassion and love for yourself first, so that then you can radiate that out to others as you greet them in your day. Allowing the strength, the energy, and the breath of this practice to help you with your intention once you step off your mat and into your day ahead as well. We'll seal everything in with one final om or sigh of the breath. Exhale fully. Take a nice full inhale. Bow your head slightly. Take a moment, think of one thing in your life that you truly are grateful for. And then hold on to that image in your mind's eye as you raise your head with a smile. Thank you for joining me today and taking this exploration of your upper back. Drink lots of water, eat your veggies with some luck. Namaste. Thank you. If you feel like you're going to be a little sore there, eagle pose is going to be a great pose to stretch that out if you're a little sore later, or just give yourself a big hug. So those are going to help for later if you feel like you're really tight there. We did a lot of good upper back work, so if you're not used to doing weights or upper back work, that's some good stuff that we did there in those areas. So I'd love